Okay, guys. So yesterday we talked about congruent triangles. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about congruent triangles. So you can just set your pencil down and listen for now. Let's say I had everybody draw a triangle, and I gave you one requirement. The requirement is you have to draw a side that is 1 foot long. You draw a triangle. The only requirement is that you have to have a side that is 1 foot. Would we all have the same triangle on our paper? No, we have a ton of different ones, okay? Let's say I said, everybody draw a triangle. Here are your requirements. You must have a side that's 12 inches and a side that is 10. As I walk around, would we all have the same triangle drawn? No. Here, I can show you. Here's the two sides. I don't have the third, but I'm sure you can visualize the third one, right? Is that the same triangle as this? I still have the same two sides, different triangle. So one side, you don't need to write this down, one side matching doesn't mean the triangles match. Two sides that match up doesn't mean that the triangles are going to be the same. What if I say, everybody draw a triangle, 12, 10, and one side that's 6. Now, would we all have identical triangles? We would. I can kind of show you. So there's many ways I could put these together. But if I do this, is that going to fit with this piece? The only way it's going to fit is if I get them all to touch like this. Now, if I draw this triangle and you draw this triangle, and somebody else draws this triangle or this triangle, is that the same?
Yes.
Yeah. So we might draw it in a different location, but it's still the same triangle. So what I'm trying to show you is that if we have 3 sides in common, our triangles will automatically be congruent. I would like you to write under this box, what proves congruent? We're going to write 5 things. The first one is S, S, S. That means side, side, side. That means my triangle has 3 sides that identically match your triangle. And if that is the case, our triangles have to be congruent. Let's say I have this triangle. You don't need to draw it. If I copy paste it, it's identical. All the sides and angles match. My question is, if I have everybody draw a triangle with a 90-degree angle, a 30-degree angle, and a 60-degree angle, would we all have the same triangle? Well, watch what happens. If I, where's your mom at? If I have this triangle, I made it smaller. Are these triangles congruent? No. Watch what happens with the angles. That one matches. That one matches. And that one matches. Just because 3 angles match, does that guarantee our triangles are going to match? No. Think about this. Let's say you take a really nice family photo and your mom's like, oh, that's beautiful. We're going to make it bigger and put it on our wall. Are these photos congruent, same size and shape? How many degrees is each angle down here? How many degrees is each angle here? 90. Just because the angles match doesn't mean the figures are going to match. You might think that they will, but it doesn't work that way. So if we have 3 angles that match, that actually is not enough information to prove congruent. So go ahead and put A in the not category. 3 angles that match is not enough to guarantee that our triangles are congruent. This is what we're working with today. We're going to have 5 in the yes category and 2 in the no category. I don't have visuals for all of them, but this kind of gives you an idea of what we're doing. I do have this visual for one more. So On this poster board, I made 2 side lengths of 8 inches, that's in red. And I made a requirement of a side that's 5 inches, which is in blue. And I made a 30-degree angle. Are these triangles the same? No. So will 2 sides and the same angle make them congruent? No. That goes in the no category. 2 sides and an angle. Now I could say this. I could say side, side, angle, side, side, angle. Or I could go the other order. I could say angle, side, side. Angle, side, side. You see what it's going to spell if I do it in the other order? Angle, side, side. Probably not the best thing to say. However, usually when we teach this, we say, hey, I don't care. You can write it because it's in the no category. So by writing it this way as opposed to that way, we remember, oh yeah, we shouldn't be saying that. And so that's one that we can remember goes in the no category. Miss Williams calls this the donkey theorem. So there are, it's the same thing. Side, side, angle, angle, side, side. Not enough to prove congruent. Let me fill you in on the other ones that will prove congruent. There's a lot, but if you remember the ones that don't work, every other combination does work. So please write down SAS. SAS. ASA, which stands for, of course, angle, side, angle. Sure is not, because that one has an angle in the middle. AAS. This one here could also be written like this. You don't need to write them both. Just know that as long as the angles are together and the side is on the outside, not the inside like this one, they're different. So I would accept it either way. And then there's one that has these letters, HL. Anybody want to guess what HL stands for? What do you think? Good guess. No.
What do the last words say?
Height and length.
High, low.
Good guess. High, low. Any others? What? Oh, yes. It only happens in a right triangle. What only happens in a right triangle? That longest side. Hypotenuse leg. This stands for hypotenuse leg, and we will discuss that as we do these problems.
I've never heard that word.
A squared plus B squared plus C squared.
No, I've heard that.
We did it like 3 weeks ago.
Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to spend all hour looking at these 9. We're actually going to do 8 of them because 5 is a repeat of 4. Our goal today is to say, hey, those triangles look alike. They are positively 100% alike because one of these tells us they're alike. Or we say, I know they look alike, but they're actually not alike because these aren't enough information to prove they're alike. They do all look congruent, all the sets of triangles. We have to determine if they are, which category we use, and if they're not, why weren't they congruent? What did we have that we were supposed to have or not have? Now, there are times when you can just look at one and just know the answer, boom. But I've noticed, even today in teaching this to 2 classes, that there's a lot of people struggling with the order because there's a lot of ways you can put things in an order. So I've come up with a foolproof system that'll work every time if you will take the time to do it. Do you remember when we did the patty paper and that helped a lot of you? If you slow down, do the patty paper, you usually do it right. If you say, I don't need the patty paper, if it takes more time, I'm going to do it my way, sometimes it's right and sometimes it's not. So my advice would be, please take the extra time to follow these steps and you should get the right answer every time. It'll take you a little longer. You will still finish the quiz in class, just like those who rush through it, but your grade, don't mess with that. Don't touch it. Your grade might be better. Do you see the number of holes in that wall?
There's like
I didn't do it.
There's
On the metal piece
metal
in.
piece in the hole.
Step 1. Mark your triangle. I did have some fourth hour who were confused, and then I looked at their notes and they didn't have it filled out. So if you don't write the steps, you're not gonna be able to use the steps, and then we can't help you. So let's make sure we're taking good notes. Mark your triangle. There are 3 things that you can mark. You can mark reflexive, which is an overlap. Let me explain. Reflexive, which is an overlap. So if we look at number 6, do you guys see here in number 6, the top triangle has side BD and the bottom triangle has side BD? You see that? Wouldn't that mean they share that side? It's got to be the same length. They overlap. So go ahead and put a mark on side BD. They have that in common. They share a side. Number 7, they have an overlapping side. So if you look, they've already marked this side and this side the same. But we also know that they share that side. So we mark that the same. That's called reflexive. The reason I put 2 little tick marks is because 1 was already used. Do you see reflexive in number 8? Yeah, again, they already share this side, so that's 1 S they have in common. But if they overlap a side, then they share that side as well. Same for 9. The side they share is reflexive. So when you get your homework or your quiz, I suggest you do that first. You run through all of them, marking reflexive, not even answering the question, just mark reflexive. The next thing I think you should mark is vertical angles. Let me remind you what vertical angles look like. Draw an angle, which would be like a V. And you want to extend it. Just keep going. These angles are vertical. We usually mark angles with a little arc in the angle. So let's run through. Does anybody see a set that has vertical angles in it? Give me a number. 1, yes. So we're gonna mark those angles alike. 2, they're not even touching, so it can't be 2. Yep.
4.
4. Ooh, not 4, because if I were to extend this, it'd be this angle down here. But they do already have a set that's marked. They're just not vertical. I don't think I see vertical anywhere else. C, you can mark some right angles. And you're like, some, how do I know which ones? Some right angles. Let's look at number 4. This angle here might look 90 to some people. Can I just mark it 90 because I think it looks 90? No, even if it looks really, really, really like it's a 90-degree angle. You can't just mark it because you think, it's 90. Let's look at 6. This angle right here appears to be 90. Do we know for sure if it is? We do, because a straight line is how many degrees? 180. And I've already got 90 here, so if I subtract 90, what am I left with? 90. It has to be 90. You can mark it because it has to be 90. There was no guessing. Any others where we know for sure it's 90? 8. If that one wasn't there, we wouldn't be able to, but because one right angle is there, we can draw the other. So again, when you get to your notes or you get to a quiz next week, there's going to be, I think, about 9 or 10 of these on your quiz. It's just going to be the front or back side. There'll be more to it, but this will be one whole side. It's just there's 10 sets of triangles. Tell me if they're congruent and by what criteria. These are what we call the criteria. Alrighty, there are 4 steps. Step 2, cover up one triangle. Step 2, cover up one triangle. Good job taking notes. Step 2, cover up one triangle. Step 3, you're going to ask yourself this question, write down the question. What do I have 2 of? Step 3, what do I have 2 of? That's what you're writing down. So step 1 is mark your triangle. Those are what you're allowed to mark. Step 2, cover up one triangle. Step 3, what do I have 2 of? Step 4, is the third thing touching both? Step 4, is the third thing touching both? Got that written down? All right, where's the metal piece? So we will do this 8 times. Your homework today is just like 10 more of these. But remember, like the patty paper, we want to take the time to do it slowly and do it correctly. Here we go. We have already done step 1. We've marked it. Yes, sir. What? Yeah, 4. Is the third thing touching both? Is the third thing touching both? Yep. Okay, so let's do these together. Here's the reason we cover up one triangle is because there's a lot of markings here, and I just want to look at one triangle. So you can do it in your head. You can actually use paper, pencil, or your hands. Do something to only visualize one triangle. Casey, what was step 3? Okay, so everybody look at this one. Do you guys see 2 sides with marks or 2 angles that are marked? Angles, right? There's that black angle and that red one. So write down what you have 2 of. Put AA. I'm going to color code this. I'm going to put what I have 2 of in the same color. So I'm going to mark, I'll do it in red. I'm going to put a red dot at this angle and a red dot at this angle. Luke, read me step 4.
Third thing touching both.
Okay. Do you guys know what I mean now by the third thing? The thing I haven't talked about. So I've said there's 2 angles. So that third thing is this thing right here. Now the question is that touching both? So is this blue side touching both red angles? No. So we don't want to put this side right here. See how that's touching both? Everybody look. We don't want to put the side in the middle because it's not touching both angles. This side is only touching one angle. So you may put it here or here. Either one is the same correct answer. Do not put it in the middle. Remember, there's only 2 combinations that are no. Think of the photo enlargement, AAA. That doesn't prove congruent. That's not what we have here. The bad word. Do we have the bad word here? No, bad word is ASS or SSA. So are these triangles 100% sure they're congruent? Yeah, because we were able to find something from this category that works. So yes, triangles are congruent. That's what we're doing 8 times today and about 10 times for homework. You just got to do it slow. I will have you do some by yourself in just a minute, but let's practice together. Number 2. Cover up one triangle. What do I have 2 of? Well, actually, don't I have 3 of something in this case? I have 3 angles. Does it matter the order if they're all A's? Nope. Is having 3 angles that match up with 3 angles enough to prove those triangles are congruent? No, because they're in the not enough information. So we're going to say AAA. I do want to see that you wrote that. Cross it out and say triangles are not congruent. I guess not enough to prove they're congruent. They could be, but according to what we've been shown, we're not sure. Number 3, cover up one triangle. Read what's step 3. Okay, so answer that for me, please. What do I have 2 of? 2 sides. I have this side and this side. Okay, read what's the 4th step. Okay, so the 3rd thing is this here that I haven't talked about, this right angle that was marked. Now, everybody, let me write down the 2 S's I had. Is this red angle touching both blue lines? No, it's only touching this blue line. It is not touching the other one. So that means I don't put it here. It is not touching both sides. You can put the A on either outside. If we put it here, we remember, oh, yeah, not supposed to have that one. Not enough to prove congruent. However, this is a little bit of a tricky one. Yeah?
How do you know what's an angle on this side? Because if you look at that one, the other one.
So you see how this has a mark here right on this side? This little tick mark? You want to ask yourself, where's the tick mark located? Is it in the little angle or is it on the full like side?
So the tick mark or what? Covers the side of the angle?
Well, see, because angles are like in the corners, right? And see how this tick mark is like right here in the middle of a whole like side? That tells you it's a side. Like over here, see how we're in the corner, in the corner, in the corner? Those are angles. Over here, vertical angle, it's in the corner. This is in the corner. And this one is, this tick mark is on this side.
So when there's a tick mark on the side.
Yeah, if it's in the side. I mean, there's been times, like see how 7? It kind of has both, but it's where it's located. It's located in this, oopsies, located in the little corner and the angle. Yeah, so it's where it's located. Before we go on from 3, is this a right triangle, number 3? Yes. Does the hypotenuse have a mark? Does another leg also have a mark? Yeah. So even though this wasn't enough to prove congruent, we actually do have HL. So our answer is yes. At first we thought no, ASS wasn't enough to help us. But it did have this criteria. It was a right triangle. The hypotenuse, which is here, had a mark on it. Another leg had a mark on it. So that's enough.
Why are we writing that enough?
Because at first all we had was angle side side, and that alone was not enough. Just like I did, you would put ASS. That is not enough to prove congruent. However, we do have HL, which is one of the criteria to prove congruent. Does it have a hypotenuse with a mark on it? And does it have another leg with a mark on it? I'm going to have you guys try 4 and 6 on your own. Take your time. See if you notice something you want to say. No, I cannot help with 4 and 6 yet. I'm giving you time first.
What's the point of this one? What way to use this? So how are we gonna use it? You say kitchen.
Just doing 4 and 6. For some people, this just, when it clicks, and then you get it. And until then, you just kind of have to figure out maybe what you're doing wrong or what you're not thinking through. But eventually, hopefully, it will click if you keep trying. Adrian, if you'd like more time on 4 and 6. Okay, I'm going to run through the steps. Step 1 is to mark my triangle. That's done. Step 2, cover up one of the triangles. Step 3, what do I have 2 of? Maybe color coding would help you if you have some highlighters or you want to incorporate your red pen. I'm going to mark what I have 2 of. I have this side marked, and I have this side that has a mark on it. So 2 sides are marked. Does it match 2 sides over here? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The last step is the third thing touching both? You guys see the third thing? I haven't color coded it yet, but it's this right here. There's an angle that has been marked. So that means I have an angle that I need to place somewhere. Is it included in between the 2 sides? Yeah, because this red dot is touching both blue sides. That's why it goes in the middle, touching both blue sides. Questions on that? Did anybody follow the steps and still get it wrong?
For step 1, you did do all 3.
Now, it doesn't apply like there weren't vertical angles here, but if there are, you just mark it. We did step 1 at the very beginning for all of them. Let's do 6. Step 1, mark your triangle. Got it. Step 2, cover up one triangle. Step 3. Mason, what's step 3? Don't ask me for help. Josh, what's step 3?
What do I have to?
Okay, could you answer that for me? What do you see 2? Are there 2 angles that have been marked or 2 sides? Good. So here's an angle. I'll just put a dot right there and a dot right there. So I have 2 angles that have been marked. Josh, what's step 4?
Is the third thing touching both?
By the third thing, we mean this, right? The thing I haven't marked yet. So this is a question for everybody. I want you to look. Is this red side touching both angles? Is this red line touching both blue dots? No. So if it was, oh, bummer. That's not what I wanted. If it was, I would put it in the middle. But it is not touching both blue angles. So I can put it here or here. That's the same answer. You pick. If you want to put the S first or S last, they both work. Let's put it there. Both of those, so number 6 and number 4, those answers would be yes. Those triangles are congruent because of the criteria we picked that worked. Okay, I'm going to have you try 7 and 8. We're going to do 9 together. Go ahead. 7 and 8. You can do it. Do the steps. And But in here, you're like, I think it clicked. I think I got this.
Maybe.
No? Okay, well, it hasn't clicked if you're still a maybe. Question or it's clicked?
Question.
Question. Yep.
I just read.
No, because see this side here? It's not marked. That's an angle right there. Not the side. Step 2, cover up one triangle. So you're even looking at that. Now go to step 3 and then 4.
So.
Angles inside.
Are you following the steps? Are you following the steps? But you're not following them.
I don't understand.
Okay, so you can help me with this one. Let's do number 8 first. Step 1, we've marked the triangles. Ada, what's step 2?
Cover one.
Yep. So see how there's a lot to look at there. If I cover up one, I have a whole lot less to look at. Give me step 3. Okay, so take a look. There's a couple things marked and a couple things in the triangle that have no markings on it. What has a mark? Are there 2 sides with marks or 2 angles? Sides, yeah. So I'm going to highlight the 2 sides. I have this side that has a mark and this side that has a mark. I have 2 S's. So far, so good. Okay, Aiden, the 4th step is
Third touching.
touching both.
Yeah, is the third.
Okay.
touching.
Do you know what I mean by the 3rd thing? Like the other thing that hasn't been identified really yet, which is this angle right there. Okay, so this angle, is it touching both of the red sides?
Which one? Oh, no. Yes, it is.
Which one? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, that angle is touching both sides, so I put it right in the middle, touching both sides. And there's my answer. We cannot do hypotenuse leg because the hypotenuse has not been marked congruent to the other hypotenuse.
Is there always going to be two of? And number 3, is there always going to be something?
Sometimes there's 3 things instead of 2, or if it's HL, then no. So HL is kind of your oddball. But you did good on 8. Do you want to help me with 7, or you want me to pick on somebody else? You did it. I think you can do it again.
JJ wants to.
Who? Jackson?
Yeah.
All right. So Jackson, step 2 is cover up one triangle. I can kind of do that, but it's kind of hard. Step 3, read it to me. Step 3.
What do I have 2 of?
Okay, so what's your answer? What do I have 2 of?
Sides.
Sides. This side has a mark, and this side has a mark. Maybe getting out colors will help you. I have 2 S's. That's what I have 2 of. Step 4.
It's the third thing. The third thing touching both.
This is my 3rd thing, right?
Yeah.
That's an angle. So my question is this angle here, that blue dot, is it touching this red line?
No. Yes.
Yes. Is that blue dot touching this red line? No. So where does it go? Does it go in here touching both? It's not working for me very well. No, it goes on either side. You could put it on that side or on that side. Are the triangles congruent then if I have ASS? Not necessarily. Let's double check HL. Is this a right triangle? If it's not a right triangle, it's not going to have a hypotenuse. So our final answer is no. These triangles are not shown to be congruent. Do we have questions before I do 9? Okay, number 9. There's a symbol there that we haven't seen a lot. Do you guys remember what those arrows mean? Arrows mean parallel. Here's what I usually have students do with parallel. I have you extend those and draw the transversal. This goes back to when we had corresponding angles, alternate exterior angles, alternate interior. You guys, is that ringing a bell at least? Okay, so let's see if any of those appear in this figure. You should see 8, in my case, yellow angles. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Please look up here. Do you all see that angle 3 is half in and half out of the triangle? Don't talk about that one because it doesn't really apply. Do you see how 1 and 3 have nothing to do with what we're talking about? Angle 4 is the only one we care about right now, so let's put a little arc on that angle. Maybe I can put my arc down here. Look at angles 5, 6, 7, and 8. 6 and 7 are out of the question. Do I want to go with angle 5 or 8? 8, because 5 here is a really big angle and it's going out of the triangle. So I want to talk about angle 8. Let's mark angle 8. Do you guys see how they're both on the inside? This is the inside. That's outside. 4 and 8 are both on the inside. They're on alternate sides of the transversal, so we call those alternate interior angles. Now let me clean it up a little bit. What we marked was this one and this one, and we already had this marked. Those are all the markings we can put in. Very hard to cover up one triangle here. Do I have 2 of anything? 2 what? I only have that one side. That means parallel, doesn't mean congruent. I have this side and I have this angle. Is 1S and 1A enough? No, so you're going to write, even though they may be congruent, you're going to say not enough information for congruent because that alone is not enough. Those are trickier. I don't expect an A+ on those, but I am hoping we get at least half of them correct on our homework. Go ahead and start working on your homework. Go slow, ask questions. Good job taking notes, I think.